trying to explain that all of these products are so similar. It just depends on your preference. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we're doing something slightly different. A little bit high maintenance, but definitely something different from what I've done before. But I just want to start incorporating a few different things and maybe focus on some of the products that I do have and doing some comparisons. Today's video, we're going to be putting all these glow filters head to head. I hope you guys are as excited for this as I am, and without further ado, let's get on with this because it's going to be a long one. So let's start with the obvious. What is a glow filter? Even myself, I couldn't really describe it because I use a lot of words to explain something really small. So just to make it concise, I did just look up their meaning on the internet, and it says it is a multi-purpose liquid glow booster infused with hydrating ingredients to give your complexion a soft, focused, social filter effect in real life. All these products, every single one of them, has some form of dimethicone or silicone in it. They don't say it in those specific terms because I think a lot of people don't want to go for something that is silicone based, especially when your foundation is water based. So when they use those trigger words, I think a lot of people steer away from those products. Hence why none of us really use pore filling primers anymore, because it's just so silicone-y. Your makeup can lift off, it can end up looking cakey. A lot of times they don't add it. But in my opinion, the dimethicone in this is just to make it more emollient and move around easy. So you'll see most of these are like a gel-like texture. It does smooth over the face quite nicely. The only thing different between all these products is that some of them in here are the glow filters, and then I've added in a couple of glowy primers, which is essentially the same thing. Some of them, like for example, these 5 are essentially foundation products or described as base products. So it can be used to like even out your skin tone and give you more of an illuminating glow, but little to no coverage. And again, not so much different from the 2 last ones I have here, which are glowy primers. With the glowy primers, it can have a different type of hue. So some of them lean a little bit pinky, some of them a little bit more gold, some of them silver. Not entirely a foundation product, but definitely a skin prep step, depending on how glowy you want your skin. I've just looked up the ingredient list just to make this a little bit more comprehensive and so that you and I can both understand it. And I should do this more regularly, but I don't always. There's 3 products in this pile that haven't entirely described it as being dimethicone. I'll put the little pictures up on the screen to explain them as well. Firstly, we'll have the Essence Magic Filter Glow Boosters. First one is Essence. So they have called theirs, or not called them, but they have added the ingredient called this is going to be a hard one, octyldodecanol, and I will pop the description up here, but this is described as something that mimics silicone. You'd think of it, you'd look at the ingredients list, it doesn't say dimethicone, it doesn't say silicone, but it's still a derivative of it or an imitation product. So it still does have silicone in it. All of them have glycerin in it as well to moisturize the skin. Some, for example, the Catrice, have squalene in it. So that is a skincare product and can benefit your skin in the long run. They all have different effects on the skin, in my opinion, and I'm very, very excited to show you. Another one that had a slightly different name. So this is from Uoma by Sharon, and it is their Prime to Glow Skin Perfecting Illuminating Primer, which is essentially what all of them are. This one has silica in it. So silica is also a derivative of silicone. It just depends on, I guess, their product labeling and what ingredients they use, but it's still a derivative of it. It's just not as scary as saying silicone or dimethicone. Then also with a Catrice one, we're just getting through the nitty-gritty first, bear with me. The Catrice is called Soft Glam Filter Fluid, and it is a glow booster, as all of them are. This one, it was called, I have it written down so I don't have to go through the list. It is called propane diol. So again, it is also, it's not really described as silicone, but it does the same thing as silicone does. So it makes it more emollient and easier to spread on the skin and gives it a thinner texture, but it still is moisturizing in the sense that it kind of holds your natural oils in. That is the nitty-gritty of things, and now we're going to get started with the applications. I will not be setting or anything like that. I think towards the end we'll just try and do a full face using that as our foundation product, but I will just show you what it looks like on my skin. To start this off, I do have combination skin, oily T-zone, very oily T-zone, and then more dehydrated to normal on the outsides of my face. For me, my problem areas are mostly here on my cheeks, in the middle of my forehead, and also my nose. I have like these sebaceous comedones on my nose that I just cannot get rid of. No matter how many nose pore strips I use, it just keeps coming back. And then I have very, very enlarged dehydrated skin over here with my pores. They are massive craters, so anything too illuminating can definitely emphasize that. Firstly, we're going to go ahead and use the Essence Magic Filter Glow Booster. Sounds like a robot there. And I got mine in the shade 30 Medium Tan. And up against that, we're going to add the Catrice Soft Glam Filter Fluid Glow Booster in 30 Medium. So basically the same in each one. I've tried both of them. You've probably seen videos on my channel for both of them. This one is about, I think, 90 Rand, if I'm not mistaken. And this one is 160 Rand. So Essence, I think, is by far the cheapest, like in this bracket. I don't know how to describe it, but Essence is definitely the cheapest. And spoiler, it's probably one of my favorites. So it does also have castor oil, glycerol. All of them have like some kind of skincare benefits to it. Like I said, the Catrice one does also have squalene in it, so it can help with breakouts. Anyway, let's get this on our face and I'll zoom you guys in. So let's go ahead and start with the Catrice side first. The Catrice one, I'm going to try on the side of the face, and I do like this applicator. I really just prefer swiping it on my face because I don't know, it kind of just distributes less of an amount, and it's never too much on the applicator, and I'm usually going in for more. This one smells funny. It just smells like cheap makeup in my opinion. I'm gonna go ahead and just bounce this into the skin. I just use like light tapping motions as to not disrupt anything too much, and also just to get the most amount of coverage out of it. Taking it all the way up under my eye just so you can see what that looks like. If things have changed slightly, my mic died, so I'm not sure how much of the previous clip it actually caught, but I just put it on the side of the face. I took it up under my eye. Let me show you what it looks like. This is obviously with nothing on. I took it up, like I said, all the way under my eye, and as you can see, it does provide a little bit of coverage. Very light coverage, but I think that's enough for like an everyday wear if you don't want like thick foundation on your face. But this is what it looks like. It catches the light really nicely, but for me as an oily girl, it can look very sweaty. On the other side, we're going to use the Essence one, and this one comes with a pump. I'm sure if you've watched my other video, you would have seen that. I'm just going to put it on my face like this. I know that it's very frowned upon. Again, I have a clean brush, and I'm just going to pat that into the skin. Formula, I'm not gonna lie, is one of my favorites because for some reason it has really blurring properties. I don't know which ingredient that can attribute to. It definitely blurs my pores. It has a horrible smell. I reckon that it is the castor oil in it. So it does have two different types of castor oil in here, which again is very hydrating. I mean, you can even use castor oil on your lashes, and they say that that helps with hair growth. That is very good for, I guess, hydration. You can see the difference between the two here. It doesn't add as much coverage as the Catrice one. You can see more of what my actual skin looks like underneath. The all-round effect for me, it's just slightly better. Let me know what you think. I mean, if I was wearing these side by side, you wouldn't really be able to tell that I was wearing two different products, which I guess is the whole point of this video. You don't need to try every single one of them. Find one that you like and keep using it, because this one has slightly more like reflex in it, and that's the biggest difference I have found between all of these. Some of them are just a little bit more glittery, but I do like this as a primer because, like I said, like it slightly blurs out my pores there, and it just gives me a really nice effect. The smell does die down after a little while, so it's not a huge thing, but it smells like wet dog or like a damp carpet. Not my favorite smelling product, but I think it's gorgeous. Between the two of them, I would pick the Essence. I did also think maybe we'd just add some concealer with this just to see what that would look like for like an everyday use. And I'm just using my Project Pan Tarte one. I'm almost out of this. That is kind of what that would look like. And as you can see, it's just evened out everything. It looks like my skin is kind of perfect. No discoloration. I think that looks amazing. With just some mascara, imagine that. Maybe a little bit of liner and powder. Let me know what you guys think and if you've tried any of these and which ones were your favorites. I'm going to go ahead and jump off camera, take this all off, and we'll start again. Also, it's a little bit late to mention this, but my lips are really crusty. It was my birthday this weekend and I overindulged a little bit and I always get the crustiest lips afterwards. Next, let's move on to the next two. And we have the PS My Perfect Flawless Glow from Primark. This one is £6. And then we have the Baby Beam. I got mine in Golden Beam by the Glow Hub. And this one is £14. This is probably the most expensive we have here today. So is the expensive one better than the cheaper one? Have to wait and see. I'm going to go ahead and use the Baby Beam first. Like I said, I have mine in the Golden Beam. On their ingredient list, they do mention that it has dimethicone in it, which I think is great just so that you can have a heads up and plan the rest of your makeup routine around that. So I'm going to take an extra fluffy brush just because this has more like fine shimmer in it. It also is described as a foundation product. It says on the back of it, you won't be able to see, but it does say foundation. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but it says foundation in the first line. So this is described as a foundation product, but for me, it's just slightly too glowy. I don't know if you remember what the Essence one looked like, but as you can see, this has way more reflect and it kind of gives like plastic skin or Tin Man effect. It doesn't do anything in the sense of blurring pores. It kind of just sits in my pores here. It doesn't like mesh in very nicely with my skin. So I'm going to take my sponge and just pop over this. Like I said, I didn't do this with the other two because it's just a different formula. That is what it looks like. If you like this, go girl, but for me it's too much. On the other side, like I said, Primark, again, this one does have an applicator. It doesn't hold a lot of product, like I said, so I find it so much easier. As you can see, the tone is slightly different. It is also much thinner than all the other formulas, so it does go on quite watery. It doesn't give you as much coverage. I thought that this was one of my favorites, to be honest, but I tried it again a few days ago just to like refresh my memory, because sometimes when I get new makeup, the other stuff just gets pushed in the back of the drawer and I don't use them as often. So I tried this again and it did look kind of dry on my face. Again, because it is such light coverage, you can't really see a difference between the two sides, and it is just that glowy element that is supposed to be the like selling factor. Again, much more shimmery than the other two products, the Catrice and the Essence, much more glowier than those. So this is what that side looks like. Again, not too, I find like this side way more shiny. It has more of like a silver reflect to it, where this one, it looks a little bit more oily. I don't know, I think I'm as zoomed in as I can, but it's kind of clinging onto like fine hairs and little dry bits of skin, which I didn't even know I had. And it just accentuates a little bit too much. Even though the Baby Beam isn't my favorite, let me just go over it with a sponge as well. And just looking at my skin now compared to the Essence and the Catrice, I actually don't really like either of them as much as I thought I would have. Before looking at my face in the mirror, I would have definitely said the Primark one was my favorite, but looking at myself in the mirror, the effect, and how my skin feels, I'm going to go with Baby Beam for this one. I wouldn't say it's worth it for the money. The Essence one is much better, but if I had to choose between these two I currently am holding up, I'll definitely pick the Baby Beam instead of the Primark. Let's go ahead and put a little bit of concealer on to see what that looks like. I do also think that the Baby Beam has slightly more coverage than the one from Primark, but that is what it looks like with the concealer on. Let me know what you think. And again, if you've tried either of them and which one you prefer, but that's what it's looking like. Keep this in mind because we're moving on to the next. So we have 3 products left, and like I said, 2 of them are actually glowy primers, and then I have the last like glow filter. So I think we'll keep this for last and we'll end off the video with that on our faces, and I'll probably like powder it down and show you what that looks like. For now, we have the two glowy primers, which I thought was only fair that they go head to head. The first one is the Uoma by Sharon Prime to Glow Skin Perfecting Illuminating Primer. I can't remember how much this was. Let me just check. The Uoma by Sharon is actually currently $12. Okay, so Uoma by Sharon is actually going out of Superdrug, so everything is on special for like £2, but I'm pretty sure I paid about £10 for this. And then we have the It's Glow Prime by W7, and this was £3. These are similar enough that we could put them head to head, so I'm going to start off with the Uoma by Sharon C. It's more like a salmony color with like a golden undertone. This I usually like to apply with my fingers as I do most of my primer, so I'm just going to do that and then we'll go over it with a sponge. Don't know how I've managed to keep my brows on during all of this. They're starting to look a little rough. So that's what it looks like straight on the skin. Exact same effect in my opinion with less coverage. So just going to take my sponge and blend it in slightly so that it can look a bit more even, and that's what that looks like. So nothing on my face, illuminating primer. Same effect, but less coverage, like I said. But it still can be used for the same purpose. When we put some concealer on over the top, you'll be able to see. And then this one I've had for the longest time. This one smells like watermelon. You can tell, look at that. You can tell it's got silicone in it. And again, I'm just going to rub that in with my finger. This one is probably the most Tin Man-y one I own. And I would personally never wear this on its own. But still, it's the same concept. It's a glowy product meant to illuminate the skin. Look at my hand from that proper Tin Man. That is what it looks like. And the other side. So definitely that looks much better, I'm not gonna lie. As you can see, this one just accentuates everything because I think there are fine glitter particles in it and it's not naturally like reflecting the light. They've added in reflect. As a base underneath your makeup, it can look nice, but I would never wear this by itself. It's just too Tin Man-y in my opinion. And it is, you can feel that silicone slip, whereas this feels more like a moisturizer texture. But again, it does have silica in it, which is a derivative of silicone. Not that that means much, but I'm just trying to explain that all of these products are so similar. It just depends on your preference. So let's go ahead and add some concealer. Just pay attention to the way it looks on my nose. But ultimately, same effect. If I had to choose between the two, I guess you already know, definitely would pick the one from Sharon C. This is just too Tin Man-y. It makes my skin look like plastic and I couldn't imagine myself wearing it on its own. This one, maybe. This one, not the best. I still have loads in here as well. I barely ever use it. Last time taking off our makeup and I'll tell you my final thoughts. So lastly, we have the Maybelline 4-in-1 Glow Makeup Instant Anti-Age Perfector. Look how much of this I've used. I was using it at work as like an everyday coverage, so that kind of tells you how much I like it. It has one of these applicators. It's like the sponge tip. However, when you do wind, sometimes there's like a lot of like fluid that comes out before the actual product and it's more like a watery consistency. So this we're going to put all over my face because like I said, it's the last one we have. This one has a nice golden undertone that actually looks really pretty on my skin. It is like a very liquidy formula, more so than any of the others. I don't like the sponge tip, to be honest with you. It just kind of, it grosses me out. Like it's just so gunky. But I'm going to go ahead with another clean brush and I'm just going to pop this on the skin. It evens out everything. I don't know what the 4-in-1 is. So it's a primer, a concealer, a highlighter, and a BB cream. It's still kind of, especially between my brows there, it is very, I don't know, it's like almost separated over here. Maybe it's because I've taken off makeup so much times today, but it kind of like emphasizes texture there as well as on my nose. However, on my pores, it doesn't look bad at all. And then again, just here, which is my problem area, it just looks a little bit dry. If you look at me, it doesn't give you that much illumination. It does, and it gives you that glowy, dewy look, but it's not excessively glittery. I do love the texture. It smooths out everything, especially for work. I found it really easy. It blends in quickly. So let's go ahead and just put some concealer on. So that's what it's looking like. And as you can see, it does look like I have a light coverage foundation on. I'm going to give it a second just to dry down, especially that concealer, and then we'll go ahead and powder. So I'm going to start off with the under eyes. I bake my chin and then my forehead as well, because that is where I get the most oily, and then also my smile lines. The rest of the face I just do with a fluffy powder brush and then just dust the bake. I don't leave my bake on for too long because it can make my face look very textured as well as like super white. Just a touch of setting spray just to get the powder to settle in. So as you can see, you can still slightly see a glow through there, and that's my face set. That's why I like to add the setting spray. It just like brings everything back out, but you can still see a glow. It looks really good, and you wouldn't think that I was just wearing this. Like, it looks like I'm wearing a light coverage foundation and some glowy products underneath, but I'm just wearing powders. I really like the way this is looking. Honestly, it is one of my favorites besides the essence, but I'm gonna finish the rest of my makeup off camera, and then I'll come back and give you my final thoughts and the conclusion of this video. Okay, so I just finished my face and kind of put my thoughts together. I really kind of knew, obviously, because of the video. Let's start. Forgot to attach my mic. If it sounds funny there, please ignore. The ones that I wasn't too inclined on were the W7 Glow Prime, or It's Glow Prime, and that is because it is too glittery. It is almost like just putting silver on your face. It doesn't look nice as on its own, and I have put foundation on before and it can interfere with that. So if you are looking for a glowy primer, just be aware that it is silicone based and use makeup accordingly. I didn't check this before this video even, but I kind of knew most of them have dimethicone, glycerol, and all the moisturizing products in it, so definitely be aware of that. But this was definitely my very least favorite. Then coming in is the Primark PS My Perfect Color Flawless Glow, and did I even tell you my shade was Sun Beige? £6, not expensive, really affordable, really accessible for those of you in the UK, or I don't know if they have it in the States, but they definitely do have it through Europe. This was my favorite when I tried it, but like I said, my skin type is changed and it keeps changing. So I feel like this is good, but it isn't the best. It accentuates all my pores, and it kind of clung onto a few areas that are problematic for me, but the rest didn't do it as badly as this. The Catrice one, I do like it. It's not bad. It's just, if I had to put it up against my Essence or my Maybelline, I would pick those over this one. In that category, I would say it's not the best. It is cheaper if you're looking at how many mils you're getting, like the applicator as well. It's not bad. It is all right, but for me, it doesn't suit all my preferences in a product like this. Then lastly, obviously, these are my very faves. So let's start with the primer. So this is the Illuminating or Prime to Glow Skin Perfecting Illuminating Primer by Uoma by Sharon. Again, I do like the effect that this gives you. It does feel really moisturizing, almost like a moisturizer, but it has a glow in it. So underneath foundation, it still does peek through, and it feels really nice on the skin compared to the other ones that I have tried. So would recommend this if you can get your hands on it. If I'm not mistaken, I think the brand might be closing down. So go ahead and get all your goodies now before they all sell out. Like I said, at Superdrug, they are having a huge sale on all of them. So if you did want to try, go have a look. So that would be my favorite in the primer section. Going backwards again, the Glow Hub. I don't particularly like this the best. It does have a better coverage than the rest. It didn't accentuate anything, but it does have too much of a pearl in it. That's not my favorite, but it's definitely higher tiered than the rest that we tried before. Then the Maybelline Instant Anti-Age Perfector 4-in-1 Glow Makeup. Did I tell you my shade in this is 1.5 light medium I got, which I am wearing today, like I said, and this is it with the rest of my makeup done, and it can pass as a lightweight concealer, as a lightweight foundation, or like even a BB cream as it is advertised. I do really like it. I don't like that the product separates inside, but it looks really nice on the skin, and if you can get your hands on it, I would 100% recommend. It is so quick and easy to blend out, and it looks really nice under powder. It still gives your skin a soft glow, and I would 100% recommend if you can get your hands on it. Then my favorite of today, even though it smells like wet dog, is the Essence Magic Filter Glow Booster. This one is by far the best. It gives your skin a slight blur, it's not too illuminating, and it feels like skincare. Like I said, it has castor oil, it's really moisturizing and has skin benefits if you use it consistently. So if I had to recommend one out of all of these, I definitely recommend the Essence one. It is also the most affordable out of everything we tried today. So yeah, I really hope this video was helpful. Let me know if you did like it, because I have a few more of these in mind, and I'll just show you everything on camera, see what it looks like on my skin, tell you what I don't and do like about them. I really enjoyed making this today. It was a little bit of a scramble. I was running, you know, taking it off, putting it on, but it was so much fun. But thank you so much for joining me today. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this video and if you'd like to see more, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye guys.